You're watching Sleepcore. Pleasant dreams.
So that I then felt that it would be very necessary to describe universe in the terms of experience. So I said, what do I mean by the word universe? I said, I must mean the aggregate of all of humanity's consciously apprehended and communicated experiences. That'd be the whole raw stuff. What else could I mean? And at first when I said that quite a few years ago, I know I myself and many others felt maybe it's inadequate. You've left something out there. They said, you've left out dreams. I said, no, it's part of it. I said, the aggregate of all of our experience. We have experienced dreaming. We also experience becoming. We've experienced that the dictionary, the numbers of the words in the dictionary increase every day because it's part of our experience. We're continually discovering another facet to the information. So I can't find anything that's been really left out of the definition. And if you can find anything, tell me about it. It's already going to be one of our experiences. So that it seems to work pretty well. And having then developed this scientific definition of universe, I then said, I have a way now of dealing in totality. I know what it is. I find it very interesting that Einstein then sought and did define physical universe in contradistinction to comprehensive universe, because he differentiated between the physical and the metaphysical. And he said he was only concerned really with the physical, because the physical can be coped with experimental evidence to reproduce the experiment. But I also say that you and I do have metaphysical experiences. He defined science, rather, his physical energy. Physical is energy. Energy associative and energy dissociative, and both turnaroundable. That the dissociative could become dissociative, could become associative. That radiation could be reflected and lands and reconcentrated and so forth. So that Einstein's physical universe consisted entirely of energy. Energy associated with matter, energy dissociative as the radiation, and one transformable into the other. We have then the physical universe of Einstein being all energetic. As he said, it used to be called ponderable, that it was weighable. But we find that weighing is then an effect of a lever, and there is then gravity can pull, but electromagnetics can pull equally. So when we get in electromagnetics, we simply say that anything that is physical can be identified by moving a needle. We can get actually a physical indicator of the presence of the physical. But the metaphysical does not move needles. Now, the metaphysical experience is a very profound one. All that's going on in this room with you, between you and I, has been metaphysical. What we might call understanding is utterly metaphysical. There are no arrows. There is nothing going on to weigh or indicate really understanding. I find it a very extraordinary matter. I can see your eye physically, and your eye will communicate to me as my tongue can wag and make sounds in airwaves, which gives you some kind of words and so forth. But the understanding is not that physical. So Einstein did not try to include the metaphysical in his definition of universe, but he defined the physical universe the following way: stimulated by experiences of which had come in great prominence in his time, at the turn of the century, where he was very much impressed by what he called the Brownian movement, this absolute constant motions in the liquids. He was very impressed with black body radiation, but he's particularly impressed by the measurement of the speeds of radiation both light and other forms of radiation in vacuo, linearly in vacuo, and finding that they were all the same speed. Einstein, I want to identify what he thought about these stimulants that I gave you in the terms of previous thinking proclivities of humans. We have the human beings over great ages seeing smoke, seeing steam in nature, seeing metals melted out of rock. We have a very extraordinary time when the priest scientist undertook to isolate fire under a bell jar, because up to this time there had been 4 mystical elements: the air, earth, water, and fire. And he felt that fire might be a chemical element, and he gave it a temporary working name. And he then set about to isolate this fire under the bell jar. And he weighed the items that he was going to ignite, and then ignited them. And when the fire was over, they found that the products under there weighed more than the weight of what they'd put in. We have Lavoisier explaining what had happened in the following manner. He said that they had not weighed the air under the jar. Up to this time, all the chemical elements been known to human beings were metals. They were iron, copper, silver, zinc, so forth. There were 11 of them, and they're very easy to identify. For Lavoisier to say that the nothingness under the bell jar consisted of plurality of invisible chemical elements, and that one of them is separated out and joined in with the other inputs of the fire, separating from the other, and he gave it the name oxygen. But this is, to me, one of the most extraordinary metaphysical jumps in history for a human being to assume that the non-metal nothingness consisted of plurality of somethings, and something so fundamental as to be actually rated as elements. It was extraordinary conception. He then went on to show this exactly, the oxygen joined with the mercury, mercury oxide. He showed that what we call iron ore was something when the oxygen are joined. You take the oxygen away, and there's your iron. He went on demonstrating this oxygen joining, so that combustion really was oxidation. So we have then Lavoisier's explanation then enlightened all those who'd ever had an experience really about metallurgy. You'd had good luck in having fire and melting metals out, but suddenly it gave chemical controls to metallurgy. It also explained what combustion was. It also explained what steam was, because there's water vapor, where he had the associating of the oxygen. We have out of this, you could not have avoided inventing the steam engine out of the new mental and atmosphere of science. And the steam engine came along very shortly. And with the steam engine, the masters of the water-ocean world, 3/4 of it covers water, with the lands all divided, and the men who had enough power to command the carpenters and the metal workers and so forth, produce a ship and build a great ship, having developed this design of it through eons of experience with the sea, gradually learning what did constitute a big, good, adequate ship, be able to send it to great distances, integrate the resources of Earth, which were very different in the different parts of the world, bring about synergetic interaction of this in one place with another. And suddenly what was at home and didn't seem to have any value until suddenly is a very great value.
You're watching Sleepcore, media for insomnia.
It is not at all easy to explain why you should perceive the motion picture screen to be in front of you.
asleep during Dan Crosby's speech, I guess. Well, few words, huh? Well, I don't know what to say. There's a fine bunch of men here. I like to see some of the old faces there. There's Phil Pearson, the chest thumper down there. Hello, Phil. There's Bill Murphy down there. How are you, Bill? Yeah. I wonder who that little bald-headed fellow is down there. Oh, Dillon. Yes, Jimmy Dillon. Yes, you know, he cured my several years ago. Yes, very, what's the name of those two red-headed girls, you know, down there? Dancing. The Weber sisters. Weber sisters, yeah. Get their phone number for me, will you? What was I saying? Yes. Now, you take, for instance, Clarence Page down there. Hello, Clarence. He has a Garui son. And there's a little fella down there who looks like a Cupid doll. Yes. Oh, yes, McNutt, Jimmy McNutt. Yes, well, Jimmy told me that he wanted to be a pathologist when he grew up. Who's playing? Campus in California. Oh, yeah, yes, of course. Well, I don't think there's a bare possibility. You know, boys, I think you're very fortunate this year in having the Toastmaster that you had. You know Al Zobel? I used to drink beer with him in 1897. Don't know what he's doing now, but I think that he's a mighty fine doctor on the whole. Yeah. Well, boys, I'll tell you, I'm afraid I've got a baby, one of these baby cases, forceps delivery, and captain's in sight, all that. I think I'd better run along. I'll see you next year, huh? So long, boys, so long. Outside.
In 2 tracks of